Welcome back, Daniel here. Today I just wanted to give my summary and review of my score for Ocean, the documentary short from the QTube. So let's go right into it. First, let's take a listen through. All right. So I think what I really tried to do with this was boil down the entire musical concept to just a couple things. Really, this sense of the nobility and the drama of nature, right? I think it could have gone in a few different directions, and I really kind of wrestled with this idea. I know it probably could have worked with a little bit more of a sense of adventure. Um, I want to say like kind of like the Jurassic Park score from the 90s, the original Jurassic Park score where you get this sense of adventure, but also that noble, right? What am I trying to say? That really famous theme when I think the first time we hear it in the movie is when they see are they apatosauruses, the big long neck dinosaurs. I'm probably not remembering that correctly, but the classic Jurassic Park theme where you have this sense of nobility, the sense of drama, but also a sense of adventure. I think that could have worked here, but I went more for something a little bit more mellow, but more noble. Could have been a few different things, but that's the direction that I went And again, without a director or music supervisor to say, no, it should be this way or that way, it was my choice. But I think a few other things could have worked there. And I experimented with the level of complexity. Really, this is a very simple score, right? It's just one or two melodies, not heavy orchestration. I struggled a little bit here and there. I was trying to make things more complicated, but I ended up taking things out. So really, we just have, I'd say, two themes, this sort of thing that happens at the beginning. They're in the cello. That, and also when we move ahead to this lighthouse. Okay, and the music does change around a little bit here as we sort of zoom over these rocks and we get these different shots of different things that happen in the ocean. But my concept here was that I imagined that this would be the introduction for a larger documentary. And within the larger work, there would be vignettes showcasing different animals or different aspects of the ocean, or things that happen in the ocean. I mean, like you would typically see in any type of documentary. And I sort of thought of this as establishing the mood of the documentary or documentary series as a whole, right? And if we went further into this documentary, which, there is nothing more to this documentary, it's just a short here. But if we went further and we were going to be scoring some of these vignettes, then there would be more opportunities for doing some of the different styles that I sort of was mulling over here and there as I was working on this. So I wanted to establish sort of the baseline mood and emotion of this documentary. So those themes do return near the end, and they aren't really developed. I just really wanted to establish the mood. So we start to hear those themes come back. Sorry to cut you off right as it was building up, but that stuff is all what we've heard at the beginning. It's just reorchestrated and reimagined from the beginning. Right? I didn't really modulate. I didn't go to any new keys. I just reorchestrated it. Again, I think if it modulated a whole lot, went to different key tonal areas, then that, again, I was thinking in terms of a bigger picture, that it would sort of destabilize the sense of tonality for the larger work. Here we're just establishing one key, two themes, establishing the mood, and we would develop that further if there were more to the documentary. All right, so then we get this big climax. Now I was sort of looking for one big moment to let loose, and that was here where the sea lion jumps out of the water. So I was saving it all up for that. And again, I didn't want to overdo it. I was experimenting. with having more melodic elements, other types of instrumentation, but I ended up taking all that out. I wanted it to be pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. And to tie everything together at the end, I simply brought the themes back, again reorchestrated, and then finished as I started with the string trio, cello, viola, and violin solo, and had them play the theme one more time. I felt like that was a good way to finish things off. It was sort of like bookends. So let's just hear that part at the end for the end title and the credits. Here's the theme again. So it's a lot of reworking of the same material that I started with. It really holds things together, keeps things unified. If there were more to this, if, say, for example, the next scene or vignette would have been something more whimsical, then I would develop that further and obviously make something whimsical or dangerous sounding. And I think I could have taken those themes and developed them into things that would have been appropriate for what comes next, but there's nothing next in this. So the particular challenges in this one, I wasn't expecting them to be such a challenge. The one thing that really got me stuck was timing and synchronization to picture in a few spots. So the pacing is very, very slow, but it's pretty uneven in terms of the edits. And I actually ended up scoring parts of it, and then I came back and I said, okay, well, I hit certain beats in the picture or the narration. I hit those musically, but then that caused me to end up missing other beats or other edits, and I struggled to prioritize which beats and edits and narrative hits to emphasize or mark out with the music. And I ended up having to go back and adjust some of the tempos and the meter here and there to sort of shoehorn things. It was really a challenge. I thought that it was going to be a bit easier. The previous score that I did for the QTube, the short film Spring, had a lot of fast-paced edits and very dramatic changes in the action and story. And that was a challenge too, but somehow that one flowed a bit better. I think it was because the story allowed for fast changes in the music, the mood of the music, I should say. But my concept for this score was a relatively unified emotion from beginning to end, and trying to develop the music just within that one emotional mood was more challenging to match the picture. Does that make sense? Maybe that was a very poorly worded sentence. It was more challenging to keep the mood and have the music develop and match the picture in this than I think in the previous one, because in the previous one there were such drastic changes that if I needed to hit a beat in the video, it seemed to allow me to do that easier. But here I needed to keep the pace slow and the timing slow and have it feel like one piece of music that was going to work with the picture and allow me to fit. Let me see if I have an analogy here. All right, how about this? So in the previous video, it's sort of like I could change my outfit to match the picture, right? So if one part of that short called for something very casual, I could do that, and then when the story changed, I could change my outfit and it would fit with that occasion, right? But in this one, you really can't change your outfit. This is a very formal, this is like a tuxedo, okay? And what are you going to do to change your tuxedo? You really can't do too much, right? You still have to have the same kind of, the vest or the jacket and the bow tie and the cummerbund. You just have to sort of arrange those things to fit the formal occasion. In the other one, you can have your party clothes, and then it's a different occasion, and you can change to your casual clothes, and then you can put on your adventure clothes. But with this one, you're not really allowed to change your clothes to fit the occasion. You just have to sort of, tuck them in a little bit, or change the seam on the pants. I don't know if that's a good analogy. Maybe it stinks. In any case, the challenge was really timing the music to keep it to work. And actually, I think I probably could have done better in one spot, and I want to show you that right here. So this whole section, perhaps, we'll leave it like, no, I'll switch it out to this. In this whole section, I pace things out very slowly, and then we do have quite a change getting into this spot. So listen, I was trying to adjust the tempos in the composition to match the picture, and I kept saying, well, if you only make a small change here and there, the tempo change will be mostly imperceptible. However, I can feel a tempo change right around here where we see this fisherman. It feels like you can feel the tempo accelerating, and I was doing that to match what was coming up in the picture, and I feel like I probably overdid the acceleration, and it feels a little bit rushed. So, well, listen, I think that was a fail. You'd feel the tempo going up. Right, so I was doing that to get to this new tempo and to hit the beat here where we have a change in the cinematography and an arrival in the music. So looking back, I probably could have paced out those tempo changes differently to overcome that. What are we going to do? Going to move on from this. So in terms of what I think I could have done better, the timing of the tempo changes, that was a challenge in this one. And what are you going to do? If the director were here and he were saying that didn't fit, then of course I'd have to go in and change it. I probably should have done a better job, right? I am blaming an imaginary director right there. My fault. Now, in terms of what I think I did well, I think another spot that I don't know, I felt like it could have been better was this part right here. Getting into this section. So the challenge for me there was I wanted it to be simple, unobtrusive, really in the background. And the challenge in doing something like that is to make it so it's not boring. Honestly, I felt like that was kind of boring. I changed the melody around quite a bit, several times. And I don't know, I was never really satisfied with either the arrangement or the development of the melody there. However, there are parts that I am very pleased with. I do really like this big arrival here, and from this point until it ends. Yeah, and from there to the end, I think I really hit the emotional. I really hit the emotional nail on the head with that in terms of the way I wanted the emotions to go. And again, there are countless other ways that it could be done, but in terms of the way that I did it here, I'm really pleased with that. I also really like the orchestrational choices that I made in terms of, using the brass, especially the horns. To me, that gives a sense of, well, they have the sort of a dark quality to them, especially the low brass, and I think it fits this ocean underwater theme. I do like the string trio. It has a sensitivity to it that I think fits this, but there's also that nobility that I was talking about before. And I think I was able to get away with using very little and simple themes, simple harmonic changes. I think it is effective. Um, and that might be all I have to say about this. Oh, and one thing I did want to point out. So when you're spotting and you're trying to see what's going to be a significant moment in the story or moments in the editing or the cinematography that you're trying to enhance with your music, you make these choices, you put your markers into the session that you're working with, but inevitably you're going to miss something. You're going to overlook one thing or another, and sometimes you have these nice coincidences that you didn't plan for. Well, that's what a coincidence is. And there's one in particular here with this whale. Now you can't hear it because I have, this is my mix session and I don't have the narration or sound design in, but let me see if I can show you. So you can see this whale, and there she blows. You can see she takes a breath there and blows. She blows her blowhole, and it just happened to coincide with a beat in the music, and it fits. And there's one other one. And with the sound design in there, you can hear that it fit pretty well. And also, there's this cruise ship, and you'll see this if you watch. I'm gonna post the completed layback in just a few minutes here, but this cruise ship has a horn that goes, and it plays a B flat, sort of a B flat, and I tried to work that into the music there. It's not quite a B flat. It's almost a B flat. Right, so there are coincidences in there that lined up with the music, and I was happy with that. And I always think of Bob Ross when he says that there are happy little accidents in your painting. So you take those, and then you claim them as yours. So I think that's going to be it. I hope you really enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed making that. I'm going to be moving on to something else now, something completely different. I'm not going to be scoring to picture for the next one. Just going to be doing a piece of music for its own sake. But I think it's going to be good. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share. And by all means, come and join me on Twitch as I'm live streaming. I really love talking to you guys on Twitch as I'm working. It's been a lot of fun. And you can hit me up on Facebook and Twitter as well. All right, that's going to be it. I'll see you later.